What's up, Wise Flyers? Welcome to another episode of Points on Points, where we talk about credit cards, travel points, and anything else travel related so you can learn how to travel anywhere almost free. My name is David, your host and founder of Wise Flies. Today we're joined by a very special guest, David from Travel Explore Click YouTube channel. David, how are you?
How you doing, man? Everything's good, man. Everything's good.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for being here. So, the way this is going to work is we're going to talk about the 5 topics that are on the screen right now. There's going to be a 2-minute timer for each topic. But before we get started, let's learn a little bit more about you. So, David, tell us how you got started with credit cards and travel points, and what is Travel Explore Click?
Okay, so I got started. I've been doing a lot of photography. So Travel Explore Click, that last part there, that's the photography in. So I started off with, I've been shooting professionally for about 10 years. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to start traveling and photographing my journeys. And so I took one trip. And after that one trip, I realized it's just way too expensive for me to be able to sustain this. And so that's when I started looking at, let me see if I can figure out a way to travel more affordably. So that's when I looked into travel credit cards, got online, got on YouTube, started looking at all the different the blogs and stuff like that. Looked at the Points Guy. That was probably the main blog that I looked at. Then I started looking at like Ask Sebi on YouTube and Credit Shifu. And so I started learning about the credit cards, the travel credit cards, and I got a couple of travel credit cards, and then from that point on, it was just like, it was on. After my first trip, I was like, first trip using points, I was sold. Like it was,
Yeah,
I was
hooked.
ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So you got started with credit cards and travel points. What about Travel Explore Click? How did you get started with that, and what is that all about?
So I have a channel, I have a website. So I have the YouTube channel, plus I have a website. And on my website, it's a blog, and I pretty much just show you videos. I show you the pictures that I take in different countries. And so I really wanted, the Travel Explore Click is more of, it's kind of traveling on a budget and then photographing the world. That's like my little slogan. And so I wanted to show you how I travel, how I do it, for not a lot of money, like on a bargain, and then how I explore, so the different places that I go to. So let's say Colombia is one of my favorite destinations, so I'll go to Colombia, and then I'll show you my different adventures, my little vlogs and stuff while I'm there, and then I show you the photography as well. So that's how Travel Explore Click got started.
That's awesome. And yeah, for everyone watching, definitely check out his channel, Travel Explore Click. I'll put the link down in the description below. And also, congratulations on reaching 5,000 subscribers recently. That's an amazing milestone.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, awesome. And definitely putting in a lot of work there.
Yeah, and I didn't get serious about the channel. I got serious about a couple of years ago, and it wasn't Travel Explore Click then. Travel Explore Click just actually started last year, like August, September time. That's when I changed the name over. Before it was just my name. And then I said, you know what, I want to create like a brand. So let's create Travel Explore Click, start a blog, and then just work it from there. So that's when I really launched that. So at that point, I think I had about maybe 1,500 subscribers. And so since then, I've really been able to take off. So I'm really pleased with that.
It's been growing a lot. Yeah, and for good reason. Also, one more question before we get started. You've traveled to a lot of exotic places, business class, a lot of really cool trips. What has been your favorite award redemption?
So my favorite reward redemption was actually a mistake. It was a mistake fare, like a hotel fare. So basically what happened is I follow the Points Guy, and he has a Twitter account as well. So he always puts out tweets when they see good deals and stuff like that. And so it was like 3 in the morning. I live on the West Coast. So it was like 3 in the morning. I get this tweet, and it says that I think there might be a mistake here, but you might want to check it out. They have rooms at the Hyatt Regency in Paris, France, for I think it was $29. And so I'm like, what? So I get up, I go on the website, and sure enough, it's showing $29 fare, $29 hotel stay at the Hyatt Regency. And so what I did is I booked 5 nights, and it probably took a couple of hours before they actually realized that because when I purchased it, it gave me a confirmation number and everything, like I was all booked and ready to go. And so then after that, I went back to the points guy and I looked down, have the comments under the blog, and I'm looking at the comments and people are saying, yeah, what, I got in. And then it got to the point where people were saying, what, it looks like it's no longer available. So then I went back on the site, the hotel site, and the rooms were going for like $650 a night.
Wow.
The same room that I just booked. And so
Wow.
I laid low. I didn't want to call or do anything. I just left it like that. And then what happened is about a week and a half later, I get an email from the Hyatt Regency at Etoile. Hyatt Regency Etoile is the one I booked. And they were saying, we made a mistake. There was a computer glitch or something like that. And we apologize, but enjoy your stay. Pretty much saying that we made the mistake, but we're still going to honor it. And so here I am, not even thinking, this was my first trip, so I'm not even thinking about using points or anything like that, but I just get that lucky, that lucky break there. I get in there and I get the hotel stay. So at that point, now I have to figure out how I'm going to get there. And so I had points already with American Airlines, so I used those points to fly up, and then on the way back, it was all American Airlines points, but on the way back, I flew British Airways. So I flew economy up. It was a red eye, so it was perfect because there was nobody. I had a full row to myself. And then on the way back, I flew first class on British Airways, the 747, and that was the best experience I've ever had traveling. Period. Let's just put it that way. And it was only 10 hours, right? But it was still the best experience. And I used at the time it was 70,000 points to fly back. So in total it was about 110,000 points that I used. I used like 40,000 to fly up and then 70,000 to come back. So it's a great experience.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing that you got that mistake fare or that mistake hotel night, because sometimes there are mistake fares and a lot of people jump on it. Sometimes the companies will honor it, sometimes they won't. Personally, I've never gotten a mistake fare. I'm just kind of too nervous because I'm traveling with my family usually. But that's amazing that you were able to get that and then really step it up to the next level and get a first class flight on the way back. That's really cool. Sounds like an amazing trip.
Yeah, it was amazing. The whole trip was amazing. I mean, going to Paris, being there, the total cost that I paid for that trip, it was 5 days. It was like $450. It was the whole, what I paid in total to go to Paris for 5 days. It was amazing.
Can't beat that. That's unbelievable. Good for you, man. That's an amazing redemption. All right, so you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so first topic is going to be best beginner tip for people getting started with credit cards and travel points. I'm going to start the timer now, and David, since you are the guest of the show, you're going to take this first one. So I'm going to start the timer, and you're up. Best beginner tip.
Okay, so my best beginner tip when it comes to getting travel credit cards, you want to start off slow. I know some people, they like to do the churning stuff and get a bunch of different cards and turn them over. But my advice, start off slow. You can get an airline branded card. You can get hotel branded card. You don't have to go straight for the Chase Sapphire Preferred or the Chase Sapphire Reserve or American Express Platinum. You don't have to do that. You can start off slow and then work your way up. I would recommend starting with Chase because of the 524 rule. Maybe start with like a Chase Freedom card. Just get that cashback card, start using it, get used to earning points, and then step up to like a Chase Sapphire Preferred, and then transfer those points from the Chase Freedom card up to the Chase Sapphire Preferred and use it for travel.
Yeah, no, that's a great tip. You don't have to jump in and go really hard and try to get all the first class flights. I think a lot of people starting out may see other YouTubers or bloggers getting all these really nice seats. They want it, and so they really want to get started right away. This is a slow game. It takes a lot of strategic moves and a lot of patience because, like you're saying, start slow because you go too fast and you make mistakes, and especially if you don't know what you're doing.
And you use too many points. The main thing is you use too many points if you just jump out there And I know we've all been in situations where we get points and we just want to use them right away. And so we make poor decisions when it comes to using our points. When if you take it slow and you kind of really use strategy in order to figure out, okay, well, I don't need to use points on this fare. I can actually just pay for this fare because it's only $500 as opposed to using 50,000 points, which the value is not good. So you really want to maximize those points and try to fly first class if you can, or business class if you can, by using those points using the points where they go a lot further.
Yeah, definitely. Also, another tip for me would be to, like you said, take it slow, but have a plan. I would say get educated to the point where you can take action. One of my biggest mistakes was just applying for a bunch of random cards because some blogger said that this is a good card and has all these benefits. Fortunately, back then, there weren't too many application restrictions with all the banks, but now with so many rules and restrictions with applications, like you said, start with the Chase cards because of the 524 rule, and kind of have a plan of which cards to go for next. You don't have to get them all in the first year, but definitely educate yourself enough on the bank application rules and why you're getting certain cards. I have a link above if you want to click on all the different bank application rules and restrictions, for Chase, Amex, Capital One, Bank of America, just so you know which cards to go for first and then next. So yeah, that would be my tip. Take it slow, be patient. Every move you make should be strategic. All right, so the next topic is going to be best credit card sign-up bonus. So I'll take this one. I'll start off on this one. I'll start the timer now. So not necessarily the biggest sign-up bonus at the moment, but one of my favorites right now is the Barclays Business Advantage Aviator card, which is currently offering a sign-up bonus of 75,000 American airline miles. So if you get the card, you have to complete a minimum spending of $1,000 in 3 months to get 65,000 American airline miles, create an employee card, and just do one purchase on that card in the first 90 days, and you get an additional 10,000, essentially 75,000 miles. Reason why I think that is really good is because American airline miles are hard to get. They're not really transfer partners of anybody, maybe Marriott, but the transfer ratio is really low. And so 75,000 American airline miles, almost a round trip to anywhere in the world. You could get a business class flight to almost anywhere in the world with 70,000 American airline miles. So I think this is a really valuable card. David, what's your best credit card sign-up bonus?
My best card at the moment, just right now, it's actually a business card. It's the Chase Inc. Business Preferred Card. You get 80,000 bonus points. That's after spending $5,000 within the first 3 months. Now that $5,000, that is a higher minimum spend. So if you're just new to the game, getting started, you might want to make sure you can hit that minimum spend by having, a history of getting cards maybe that have a $3,000 minimum spend or $4,000 minimum spend. But it's a great card. The business cards with Chase are great. Now, not everyone can get a business card, but a lot of people can qualify. You can qualify as a sole proprietor if you do have, let's say, an online business. You're selling on eBay, you're selling on Amazon FBA. So there are a lot of things that qualify. So if you make money outside of, let's say you have a regular job, but you're making money outside of that regular job doing something, a service, you can qualify as a sole proprietor. And that information, generally, the information that they're going to ask you, you just use your social security number and you say that you're a sole proprietor. And in a lot of cases, you can get those accounts, and they might call you, or they might not call you, but they might put you to pending, and then you call them and just say, hey, is there any information that you need? And in certain situations, they might just need to verify a couple of things with you. But definitely, that's a great card. You're in that Chase ecosystem. You have a lot of flexibility with Chase points. Plus, it's the Chase Inc. Preferred is comparable to the Chase Sapphire Preferred. So you're in that same scale, right? The same tier. Yeah. There you go. So you're in the same tier. Definitely. So you have the ability to have a Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card and then transfer those points up to use them for travel. So I like that card.
Yeah, definitely an amazing card. Like you said, there is some overlap with the Chase FI Reserve. I have the Chasing Preferred. It's the highest sign-up bonus for any Chase Ultimate Reward card. And also, one of my favorite things about that card is the cell phone insurance. So I pay my cell phone bills with it, and I'm able to, get insured up to $600. Yeah, that's definitely a great choice for a card. All right, so the next topic is going to be how to prevent your airline miles or hotel points from expiring. David, you're going to take this one. I'll start the timer now.
Okay, so the first thing that I do when it comes to the cards that are points that expire, I try to get cards where the points don't expire. So that's one of the things I really try to focus on. I don't like to have to think about, I need to use my credit card so my points won't expire. And that's pretty much the way that you have to go about it. They want to make sure that you're staying active. Some of the airline credit cards will do this where you'll have points, and then if you don't use the card for a year, then your points will expire. So you just want to make sure you're on that. But I like to get cards that tell you up front that points will not expire as long as your account's open. So you don't have to worry about feeling the need to have to use your points. You have a little more flexibility when, like I said, you don't want to just get your points and then try to use them real quick. You want to have a plan and use them. Like when I travel, I like to travel at least every 3 or 4 months. So I'm already thinking long term. Like I have a trip to Hawaii in a month, but I'm already thinking about my trip to Colombia and how I'm going to use my points in order to take that trip. So you have to plan. You definitely have to plan. So when it comes to expirations, try to find cards that don't have that expiration date. And if they do have the expiration date, make sure you put it on a calendar or something. If it's a card that you don't use very often, put it on a calendar and make sure you at least run something through that card just so you can keep that account open.
Yeah, definitely. Great tips. Also, I just want to point out something for people. If you have an airline's credit card like the City Advantage Platinum Select card with American Airlines, if you have the card, you don't have to pay the $99 annual fee every year just to keep your miles from expiring. Co-branded airline cards like that, if you actually close or downgrade that card, you still keep your miles in its own account. So they're two separate entities, your credit card and your loyalty account which has your miles or hotel points. So you could close your card and still have your miles or points. But the thing is, kind of like what Dave was saying, if you let your miles run down and there's no activity going in or out of the account, then those miles will expire. So one of my favorite things to do to prevent miles from expiring is magsformiles.com. Basically, you could get a magazine subscription for as little as 400 points, which isn't too much. You are losing a few points, but the convenience of just getting a magazine subscription, even if you don't want it, send it to a friend or family, and it pretty much resets the clock for your miles to not expire for the 18 months or 36 months, depending on which program you have. All right. So the next category is how to get the most value out of Chase Ultimate Reward points. So I'm going to take this one first, David. All right, so I'll start the timer now. So, all right, so Chase Ultimate Reward points are very valuable. I think the best way to take advantage of it is using a transfer partner such as Hyatt. I think hands down Hyatt Hotels has the best award redemption rate, to get the most value out of those points. For example, I used, I think it was for 25,000 Hyatt points, you could stay at an all-inclusive resort like in Montego Bay, Jamaica, which is what I did, or even lower, you could do it for 20,000 Hyatt points per night, which is transferred from Chase Ultimate Reward points to stay at an all-inclusive resort in Mexico. So I think Hyatt is definitely the best way to get a lot of value out of Chase points, just because you're getting a ton of value. Also, the Maldives as well. It could get like a $900 a night hotel just for 25,000 Hyatt points, which is essentially transferred from Chase points, which is 25,000 Chase points over to Hyatt points. All right, so David, what is your tip for best value out of Chase points?
Yeah, you stole mine.
Oh no!
So Hyatt is mine as well, but I'm gonna take a different.
Sorry about that.
No, I'm gonna take a different way of staying when it comes to Hyatt. So you're talking about more the luxury staying. What I like about Hyatt is you can also stay at the category 1s, category 2. So you can stay at the Hyatt Place, the Hyatt House, and that's only 5,000 points for each night. So that's an amazing value. For like you were saying, 25,000 points, I can stay 5 nights at a Hyatt Place. And the Hyatt Place properties, I've stayed Hyatt Place properties all over the world. And well, first off, let's back up a little bit. When it comes to all over the world, they're not everywhere, but I've stayed at properties in different countries, and I've had a really good experience at Hyatt Place. Plus, you get the free breakfast. And you have a larger room. It's larger than like a regular hotel room, because you have a separate area where you can sit, and you have a couch and stuff like that. And then the other areas where you have your bed and all that. So yeah, Hyatt definitely, hands down, I think is the best value. And then also with Ultimate Reward points, you have more. You have a real large footprint when it comes to transfer partners. I mean, when it comes to hotels, you can just talk about hotels. IHG, you have Marriott, you don't have Hilton, but then you have Hyatt. So you have a wide variety of different places you can transfer your points to. I would not recommend going with Marriott or going with IHG. It's just the value is, you're not getting that much value out of that. But when it comes to transferring your points over, your value really goes down. So if you're going to try to stay at one of those properties, it might be a better idea to just pay cash if you can. But if you're caught in a bind and you need to stay there at a Marriott, you have the opportunity to transfer your points over and do that. So yeah. Yeah,
definitely. And I think you saying Hyatt as well, I think we could both agree. Hyatt, for a good reason, we both said it, Hyatt definitely has the best value, compared to any airline transfer partner. Well, I guess that's debatable if you're going to go for a premium class like business or first class. But I think for the average person, Hyatt definitely makes a lot of sense when transferring to get the most value out of the Chase points.
And one other thing I didn't mention too, with Hyatt, you have the points plus cash. So you can also do, and they've changed this now, which before it was better because they had a set rate. The cash was a set rate, so you knew what it was going to be. But now it depends on how much that room is going for that night. So if that room is going for $200, you're going to pay half that. So you'll pay $100 plus you'll use some points. So you can stay in some nicer properties, spend $100 cash, and then use 12,000 points or something like that. I'm just using that as an example. But that also gives you more flexibility. And if you're traveling with other people, it really works out because, and I've done this before, flying or traveling with friends, where I will I'll use my points and his cash. So cash plus points, my points plus his cash, and I'm just using my points and not, I don't have to pay anything out of my pocket. So that's something you can think about too. If you're traveling with friends, it works out.
Yeah, I like that strategy. It's a great way to stretch out your points too, rather than blow it all in one spot, cash and points, or even going for the lower end hotels like 5,000, 8,000. It's a great way to make those high points last a long time. All right, so our last category, which it's a good segue to get into this one, is travel portal versus transfer partners. So David, you're going to take this one, and I'm going to start the timer now.
All right. When it comes to travel partners and travel portals, I like to use travel partners whenever possible because I think I get more value out of that. But you should always look at both. And the reason that I'm saying that is because this just happened to me. I'm going to be going to Colombia in August, and I was looking at United's website, because I can transfer points from my Ultimate Rewards program to United. and book my airfare that way. But I also looked at the portal. When I looked on United, they wanted 50,000 points because they're running low, I think, on award seats. So they wanted 50,000 points for an economy seat to fly to Colombia, which is really not a good deal when you can get it for 20,000 economy. That's kind of the going rate. So that's not a good value. And that's one of those seats that the seat's only $500, $505, I think, cash, something like that. So I would just pay cash for that. But I went to the travel portal, and believe it or not, on the travel portal, you have more options. You have a little more flexibility when it comes to travel portal. So that's something that you're not going to get, or you might not get when you transfer your points over to a certain airline or hotel. So looking at the travel portal, I was able to book that same flight, not exactly the same flight, on a different airline, but going to the same destination. And it was 26,000 points, and that's a round trip economy. So you can find value, but I would advise now. Before I would say no, just go with the travel partners. Now I'm saying look at both, and you can use a travel partner. Travel partner, if you want to fly business class, first class, it's the best option. But if you're flying economy, look at both, because in certain situations you might be able to book a different flight on a different airline, not United or United's partners. You can book a different airline and still get out there and do it for good value.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to look at it. If you were able to save a lot more points just by using the travel portal compared to booking it, 50,000 compared to 26,000, there's a big difference there. And I think a lot of people say, you use transfer partners, but that's a great example of how the portal actually works. So with my response to this is similar to what you were saying. It doesn't hurt to check the travel portal price compared to the transfer partner price, especially when it comes to economy or deals. For example, if you're looking to go to Europe, in the fall, from anywhere from September to March, that's the best and cheapest time to go to Europe because it's cold and not a lot of tourists will go during that time. And there's a ton of deals. So if you could get one of these deals $300 round trip to Paris from a lot of different places in the US, and then if that deal shows up in the travel portal, you're going to save a lot of money by booking it using points, whether that's Chase Ultimate Reward points, Citi Thank You points, or American Express membership reward points through the travel portal compared to transferring it to United or transferring it to Air France or something like that. So definitely, like David was saying, definitely check to make sure that you're getting more value in the travel portal, or just, it doesn't hurt just to take an extra couple of minutes to check the travel portal compared to automatically using a transfer partner.
You're also going to find out that you're going to need to do research. People, if you want to get in travel credit card, you want to get the use points and stuff like that, you're going to have to do your research. You can't just be one of the people that I'm just going to get on Travelocity. I'm going to get on one of these third-party sites and just book all my stuff, or I'm going to go to a travel agent. You're going to have to do the research on your own and kind of, and for me now, it's pretty exciting because I have these points and I'm trying to get the best value so I can take that up that next trip, So if I can spend 50,000 on this trip, if I have 100,000 points left over and I can spend 50,000 on this trip, that just means that I can spend 50,000 on another trip. So I'm constantly trying to save as many points as I possibly can, using, going through the shopping portals and all that good stuff when it comes to these benefits that they give you with these cards, and just doing that so I can maximize these points and get to all these different destinations.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the right mindset to have, which is to use your points, which are so valuable. The points are really hard to get, whether it's through sign-up bonuses or your everyday spending. They have a lot of value, and you don't want to just blow it on a trip, if you're going to go from New York to DC or Florida, right? Because if you save those points for a bigger trip, like going international, then you'll get a lot more value out of the points rather than just you have a trip coming up and you want to use it just to say that you got a free trip. Like David was saying, you want to do your homework, you want to research the points that you have, see how to get the most value out of them before just booking anything. I think that's the most important part, is treat your points, almost like money. Every point is like a dollar, or not necessarily a dollar, but it can be. And you just want to make sure that you're getting the most value out of it. You don't want to just blow it away.
Yeah, it's money. These points, it's money.
It is.
So you can use it as. So one more thing I want to add too. When it comes to points and using your points, domestic first class is not the same as international first class.
Very true.
So if it's domestic first class, domestic business class, it's just an extra wide seat. That's all it is. But what you want to use those points for, you want to use it for international flights, where you get the lie flat seat and you get that whole experience. So there are a lot of situations where if I'm just flying, I live in Los Angeles, if I'm flying to New York, it's 6 hours at most. I'm going to fly economy. I might get the even more seats, like the extra space seats. That's fine. I'm not flying business class. I'm not flying first class. I'm saving my points. I'm not using my points for those flights. I'm paying cash.
Yeah.
But if I'm flying internationally, that's where I'm saving my points for, because that's where you're going to get that full experience. If you want to go that route. Now, some people just like flying economy. Even if you're flying economy, I would still save those points for the not for the domestic flights, but for the when you're traveling outside of the country, because that's when you're going to get even some of the economy flights. Believe it or not, they're good. If you fly on some of the different air carriers, not the legacy carriers we have in the U.S., you'll be surprised at what you'll get in like an economy seat. Like I've gotten amenities kits. Like usually in business class, first class, they'll give you a little amenities kit with slippers and toothpaste and all that stuff. I've gotten that flying economy from Hainan Air on my way back from Thailand. So there's certain I think the level of service when it comes to what they provide on some of these foreign airline carriers is much better. I think the expectation is more for some of these airlines than it is in the U.S., where you're not going to get an amenities kit if you're flying United or American Airlines or Delta. If you're flying economy, you're just not going to get it. So I would save those points for that international flight.
Yeah. Totally agreed. If you're looking at a domestic flight, it could just be a few $100s. Save those points, because those points that you could use for the domestic flight going across the country could, be almost enough to take you somewhere, international as well, whether you're going to Caribbean, South America. It's only 20,000 United miles to go to South America, and you don't want to just blow that on an economy flight in the U.S. Yeah, definitely. Great point. So, David, this was a lot of fun. I really appreciate you coming on. What are some of your final thoughts, as well as where can people find you with Travel Explore Click and all that type of stuff, social media?
Okay, so as far as my final thoughts, and we talked a little bit about this earlier, if you're new to the game, just start off slow. There's a variety of different places where you can go to get information. You can go to YouTube, you can check out my channel, you can check out Wise Flies, you can check out a variety of different people that are doing the same thing, as well as you can get on the blogs. The Points Guy is good, Boarding Area is good. Check out those sites, because they'll have a lot of information that are related to travel credit cards. And the most important thing, do it responsibly. When you get these credit cards, don't just get them and use them like regular credit cards. These credit cards are designed for travel, and that's what you should be using them for. When I say designed for travel, I mean the way that you use these cards, and I'll tell you the way that I use them. And I'm not a financial expert or credit expert or anything like this, but the way that I use them, I use the travel credit cards instead of my debit card. So all of my purchases are going to go on that card. Now, at every 2 weeks when I get paid, I'm paying off those credit cards. I'm never carrying a balance on the credit card. And that's very important, because what some people think is you get the credit card just like everybody. You get a credit card. Like, I don't know. I was trained to think this way when I was younger, but you get a credit card when you don't have money to pay for something. It's like an emergency card. So you use that card and then you pay it off over time. You cannot use these travel credit cards that way. The interest rates are way too high. And so what you want to do is you want to be able to get the card, hit that sign-up bonus. So the 3-month sign-up bonus, whatever that is, hit that bonus, And then at that point, use the card like you would normally use your debit card. Every 2 weeks, pay it off. Never carry a balance on there, and that way you'll maximize those benefits. And also use the card when you travel. So if I'm traveling, I'm using that card because I have travel insurance and different things like that. Benefits just for using the card that you're not normally going to get if you don't use the card. So that's my last little point there. Now, as far as Travel Explore Click, I do have a website, travelexploreclick.com. If you go to travelexploreclick.net, that will take you to my YouTube channel, as well as I have social media, so I have Facebook and Instagram. It's at Travel Explore Click. And I also have one other thing, Travel Explore Click group, and that's on Facebook. So if you guys want to join that, you can jump on in there, and we talk about travel credit cards, and it's a little more intimate. You know, we're in there, we're answering each other's questions and things like that. So real active group. I got it started about a month ago, and it's working really well. So, and plus I'll let you know of any information that I get as far as when I put out videos or any, like if I see deals and stuff like that, I also put them on the group.
Awesome. Yeah, and all those links to Travel Explore Click will be down in the description below. Thank you so much, David, for coming on Points on Points, and I would love to have you on again. And for everyone watching, if you want to watch more videos like this or more episodes of Points on Points, you could click this link over here. It's a playlist of all the other episodes, and I'll see you in the next video. See you, David.
Take care.